Right, welcome back everybody to NZ Mopar Kustoms. If you don't know, my name's Glenn. At the moment we're working on this 65 Chevy Impala. If you haven't seen the earlier videos, will be number 8. There is obviously 7 before this. Basically at the moment I've just been working on the shell. And we're just about finished doing the metalwork on the shell. In the first couple of videos we repaired the rocker sill on the left hand side, and then we've gone around and done the dog leg and the wheel arch and the back quarter skin on the outside. Did a couple of wee repairs, replaced all the inner wheel arch, and rebuilt a lot of in behind the dog leg as well on the other side. And we're doing the same on this side. It's not as bad on the side, don't have to do the rocker. Actually, the original rocker is still on this car on the right hand side, driver's side, here in New Zealand. So yeah, we're just in the midst of getting all these panels for the rear quarter all made up. We're doing a slight alteration to the boot floor, or trunk floor, on the I've had these pieces done before at other stages, but they've been patched up and patched up and patched up. So on the left hand side, somebody at some point had actually done quite a reasonable repair on that rear quarter, but it was getting a wee bit rotten in spots, so we cut the outer skin off. I did a little small repair, but that trunk floor would actually normally come right up to the outer skin and clear by half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, but it had like a really big lip hanging out over the drop, so a lot of junk could get in there, but you couldn't get it out, and you would never get anything in there to get it out. So what they'd done is they'd actually pulled that back to the edge of the drop so you can get in there and clean it up and wash it out a wee bit. So we've done the same on this side. So I built a new little edge piece for the floor. I've tack welded that in, and we've fitted all the rest of the other pieces on this side. And so yeah, I'll turn the camera around a little bit. So this is my new real arch made that. The dog leg was bought. It's just sort of half clamped on there. It's nothing permanent. We've just got it sitting there so we can make sure we get all these pieces fit. So we've got a new outer, a new inner, and a new piece on the floor. And also in here there's a new piece for the bottom of the wheel tub to go into, which I haven't got in there yet. I've still got a little bit of shaping on that, so that's sort of the next thing we'll be doing in a couple of minutes. But yeah, so that's cool. Also, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers that have come just recently. I've had a big influx of subs in the last wee while. That's partly because, if you don't know and haven't watched my last few videos, Brent from Halfass Kustoms over in Canada near Winnipeg, he was away for a big car run down in Texas. On his way home, got a call from his brother's. The shed went on fire.
There's not a lot I can do at the moment. Yeah. So anyways, I'll let you see. So while we were on holidays, we did the Lone Star Roundup. We got a call, I guess, I don't know. That was yesterday. I honestly don't know what the date is. The 25th or something, I don't know. We were just on our way back. We were gonna go up to Saskatchewan there, and got a call from my brother. Shop was on fire, and yeah, what you see is what's left.
Burnt to the ground. So I'd done a big shout out from 2 or 3 videos ago, and I've updated it on the way through too, since I'm just, because I've had GoFundMe and bits and pieces, so I've kept people on sort of tabs if they weren't watching this channel, if you know what I mean. So I gave him a big huge shout out, and I had a massive influx of views and subs from that video, which really appreciate. I wasn't quite what I was planning, but it kind of benefited me at the same time, which is good for me, and it's been good for him too, because not that his shed burning down and losing all his gear in it, but the GoFundMe and everything is just gone mad. It's well in excess of 50,000. I haven't checked it this morning, but it was like 52 or 56,000 or something last night when I looked at it, which is crazy. It's really good for him, because it'll just help replace a lot of stuff that he's lost. I know he's got insurance on the shed. Hopefully that all comes through. We haven't heard it. When you put out a video, can't remember, it was Monday, Tuesday here, and yeah, we haven't had an update yet from him. So, and we don't know the cause of the fire either. There's been a few people asked that through different other people, just different videos, and we don't know the cause. I've actually been talking to a really good friend of his that's over in Canada that I talk to quite a lot, and I talked a little bit to his stepson, his wife's boy. I don't know, he's mid-30s or something like that. Brent would be mid-50s. So yeah, I've actually started talking to his stepson through Facebook. Yeah, and yeah, they said they don't know yet. As of a day or so ago, they're still waiting on investigations and bits and pieces, because nobody was there at the time of the fire. It's very hard to pinpoint without the investigations trying to work out what went wrong. Yeah, it'd be good to know what went wrong, so we can all learn from that, and keep an eye out for certain things, But there's even like, these batteries on a lot of these drills and bits and pieces nowadays, like if these things happen to fail or do anything weird, they're not a good thing. They'll just keep burning, and they'll make a bloody good fire, those things, by themselves. But anyway, so we'll get into this and get into it, get it pieced together. Oh, the other thing here too, with all the subs and everything, that was actually enough to push me into better apply for monetization, which is really awesome. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I actually said at the end of the last video, which we've actually put up, which was yesterday's footage, was just enough to finish the video off. Yeah, and so yeah, I've managed to break from monetization, so we've put all that through. We're just waiting to hear back for the last step, whether it's all honky-dory. I'd imagine it would be. But yeah, that'd be really cool, because I'd love to be able to give back to my community. I just haven't been able to. Righty, so I actually thought I was filming, but I wasn't. Well, or something didn't record, or I don't know. I swear I was filming before, but maybe I wasn't. Anyway, turn the camera around. So we started we got a few plug welds, and mainly the ones at the back. I haven't got up to here because it's sort of too high to get in. And I've burnt the corner of this bit in. Try to do the best I can. It's a bit ugly. We'll have to do a bit of grinding and cleaning up and try and make it look decent, and then we'll smear some seam sealer in there to hide the worst of it. So I'm just in the midst of refitting this corner piece into here now that we've got this in place, so we can kind of see where we're at with that and try and trim and make that fit. So yeah, I've been screwing around here for probably, I don't know, freaking couple of hours. Really doesn't seem like it, but it has been. So I took these off and clean the other bits up and weld through primed like the back side of this and the other edge of that and in there and whatever. And so yeah, by the time you do little bits and pieces, it time soon slips away. But see, we want to try and get this to fit in here, so I've got to do some manipulation of this. I was trying to find that pair of pliers that are in the trunk, boot, whatever you want to call it. And then I was like, I'll just check my phone and just see what it's filming and what my position of the camera was, and I realised it wasn't even fucking filming anything. So yeah, I see that. Actually, had that plan for a while. Brent's got his new video up of basically the last week of what's been going on and cleaning up and digging shit out. And I've actually played it through. This is the second time through because I've sort of just been listening to it and sort of just doing the odd scan every now and again just to kind of see what was going on. But I have to, later when I go home, whenever at lunchtime, I might sit down and just play it through and try and catch a bit of what's going on. But holy shit, man, it's amazing what freaking what survives and what doesn't. Yeah, that coop's pretty beaten up, but you know, it's like you can fix anything really. It's a shame it's been through the freaking heat like that, because he's gonna have to, holy shit, is he gonna have to do some straightening, because there's been quite a bit of stuff laying on it. Obviously, you know, broken rafters and whatever, you know, roofing stuff, and it's all fallen down and collapsed on it. So she's pretty beaten up, but it's like most things, you know, it's just a matter of hammering it out, I guess, and doing the best you can and straightening it out and reworking everything that you've already done. Like, he wants to rebuild it, and his truck hasn't fared very well either. That little white 37 Ford. I've caught a glimpse of that a couple of times, but yeah, I really want to sit down and watch it like full on, and just, she's not good in there, man. It's just like, even all his tools, like in the toolboxes, just destroyed. It's going to be sort of hard to see what will survive and what won't, you know, because you might find like the spanners and the sockets might look okay, but when you go to use them, are they brittle now, or are they being overheated, or are they soft, or, you know, you might swing on something and then it just breaks or snaps or twists or bends or distorts and flexes, you know, just, and whatever, you know, or sockets, or they split. So yeah, it's sort of one of those hard ones. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there he's sort of pulled out, and he sort of thought, you know, if I can fix it and rebuild it, I will. But you know, especially some of the, like, he's got that Ironworker tool which he uses to punch holes and bits and pieces, like some of those things, it just wouldn't be easy to get hold of again. Yeah, especially being an old school one that's like a, obviously really good quality from the 60s or 70s or 50s or whenever it's come from, and then he's picked it up second hand. Like those sort of tools are just, like, you're not just going to turn around and buy another one, especially a good second hand one. You know, and you'd have to pay really good money to get one new, if you know what I mean. Like, it's going to be double or triple or 4 times the cost of what it would be if you even found a half decent one second hand, if you know what I mean. You know, and some of the new stuff is, you know, it's good, but it's the quality's just not there, like I said it a million times before. So hopefully you can save some stuff. Some stuff will be, here might be usable, but you know, be some of the stuff that you sort of you'll probably end up replacing later on, like the sheet metal folder and bits and pieces like that. But, it is what it is, you know. He'll work it out, but man, just mountains of stuff that are just burnt and twisted, and you used to think, oh, you might better save that. Oh no, it's junk. Yeah, it's a shame. Man, there's just so much stuff in there. Like his lathes absolutely trashed, his mill's absolutely trashed. You know, just what can you do? You know, you might better save some of the dies and tooling and bits and pieces, but a lot of it will be trash too. So it sucks, you know. But anyway. Okay, big thumb. Yeah, we'll carry on. We'll get this fitted, and yeah, and then we'll see if we can get these other pieces on. We have to probably put the dog leg on first in there. So we're gonna put all the under seal in there yet. So I won't attach this to this yet. We'll get it fitted and probably tacked in, and then we'll pull this off and then we'll better weld it all in properly and muck with that, and then then we can probably put those on and put that on, and we can finish all these other bits. But we'll carry on. Right, so I've got that inner piece in behind that wheel arch. I just screwed everything back on to test it. I've trimmed the outer skin. I've trimmed the bottom of that to fit around that inner piece for the guard, and behind the outer wheel arch, the inner one. trim that to fit around that so we can clamp. So I could get a clamp on there because for a start off it was like way out here. So I had to keep trimming the bottom of it away so it would fit in snug around that. So that fits now. Oh, and further up on the inner wheel arch, it was a bit dozy when I tried to weld it in. It just blew away. There was a couple of pinholes in it. I thought I might have to weld them up. It was too thin, so I had to cut a little piece, I don't know, about an inch and a half long, and fold up a little piece and welded that in. So I've got that in. I've got a few pinholes to clean up and whatever, and I haven't welded in all the spot welds along there. I really need to, yeah, I need to drop this down so I can get in there and finish those welds in the floor, and that hold that inner break and hold that inner drop in, and then we can finish that. And I need to mark the back of this panel so I can cut the bulk of it away so I can see where I've got to join that bit, and I need to get texture coating around there and get some weld through primer on the bottom of that piece. But I really need to probably do all that inner piece and that wheel arch all at once with a texture coat, so I can let it all dry and then we can start welding pieces on. suppose better do an update. I've done a lot of crap off video. Not a lot, but a bit. So I put seam sealer in there. I let that dry for a while. Sprayed some under seal in there. I really need another can. That one's starting to get funny, but it still works. I've sprayed in down there too. I've seam sealed that joint. I haven't done anything underneath. I haven't cleaned up underneath, but it just needs a quick sand off, and then we'll do the same underneath as well. Under here, and obviously on the back side of this as well, once we kind of get to this point. But I kind of wanted to do, I didn't really need to do this piece, but it sort of ended up being part and parcel of doing this piece here. Because it's not so easy to get into. It's very awkward to spray it back down onto that surface. Whereas this surface, for the bulk of it, you'll get it because you can spray in and there like that. You can get most of it. And we'll put some seam sealer in around what we can get to. Once we get there, and then we'll spray a heap of shit in there. We'll do the same on the side when we get it on. So yeah, I've got all that drying with seam sealer. Oh, not seam sealer, underbody sealer. To give it as much protection as possible. If I ever pulled a panel completely off like that, I would do the same fucking thing. I would prime it, whatever, seam sealer as much as possible, and then texture coat and in there, and then probably even paint in there as well. And at least then you know the air steel that's in there, as much as you possibly can, is not going to rot out. And you could actually do the reverse before you put the panel on. You could actually clean all the edges up that are going to be painted, scuff it all. You could probably bed line where you can't get to, or something like that, and then put a quick coat of just even rattle can paint on there. Obviously mask off your edges where you're going to be welding, and then weld that on, and it's sealed and protected for as long as the vehicle's ever going to last. And obviously I've got weld through on these. I've just got these drying. Once this is dried, I will punch that edge too. It actually just about as dry, but I'm not quite sure we're going to punch the edge or not, because I just don't know if I can get that. This hasn't got a bigger lip on it, is what that did, because I sort of made the inner lip of that kind of to match whatever these new panels were. So I made them very wide. They could probably be cut back, but I'm just not sure whether I'm going to have enough, whether I can get them in far enough, or we may have to use some Tech screws to screw up in and then open the holes up and then plug weld it in. And I'll actually, before I weld these on, I will just run around there lightly with the wire wheel and just knock any shit off, and then we'll just reapply some weld through just on the edges. But that'll be after lunch. There you go, Matt. Yeah, a little personal joke. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, after lunch we'll get this, we'll start putting the stuff on. That should give this enough time to dry without making a mess if you touch it. And we can obviously clean up this outer panel and get any splatter off it and shit. I wasn't too worried about it's going to be cleaned off anyway, if you know what I mean. And we're going to be cutting a bit more of this away anyway, so it's not too big a panic at the moment. Right, that leg caused me a few issues. Having problems with it here. It's actually a bit lumpy underneath here. We'll kind of just do what we can with it. Hopefully we'll get it welded on fully. I've only got cut to here so far. We'll better pull that piece out from the inside. Same with the bottom of that, we'll better flick it out from the inside. But the rest of it's you know, it's on there. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to be finished, welded round and plug welded from the bottom. I just wanted to get it on and get it, you know, at least a few tacks and welds so we can just basically carry on welding and tomorrow. Yeah, I kind of left it yesterday to just let that shit dry properly. So I thought at least we can get that on and we're not having to worry about it being a bit soft or gooey, or it's going to get hot anyway, but I just thought at least if it's had a bit of a time to cure, it's half reasonable. So a few Tech screws in there in the bottom, so we'll better just clamp and pull the old one out until we can get a few burned in decent, and then we'll better go along burn all those other plug welds in. It fought me a little bit long there too, but just because I think when I sort of first cut it and pushed it together, it sort of, I don't know whether just that, because that steel's wee bit bent underneath that lead, it sort of changed a wee bit. So I had to cut it a couple of times just to get it to sit nice. But we're in there now, so that's cool. Be a little bit of mucking around, but once we get welded, it'll come together reasonably quickly. You know, in a couple of hours tomorrow morning, whatever, we'll be majority of the way there, and then it's just going to start filling all these little holes, which won't, a lot of them won't be too bad. Right, we're getting there. We got this bit done up. This here frickin' bloody lead's a pain in the ass. I've still got a bit to clean up in here. And it's a bit wavy through here from where obviously where the lead was put in. It's obviously a smack in that point somewhere beforehand. And that's probably why it's had repairs. And it had a funny bit of a dent in the outer when I originally cut it off. Wherever that is now, who knows. But yeah, so it's obviously had a bit of lead put in there. I don't know, sometime early on. Who knows when. It's a bit unusual for it to have lead down there. You know, from factory. Maybe a little bit, if you know what I mean. Where they pulled the panel around and they welded it in. It might have had a little bit of lead down there, but I can't imagine it being down into here. So it's caused me a few issues trying to weld, but it hasn't been too bad. I've managed to get most of it cleaned off. We're getting that done. Biggest problem was with this light, I almost need another one, a second one from the other side, because I get so far down and then you're sort of almost welding in the shadow, and it's makes it tricky to pick up. Like you can see all the welds fine. Yes, because you're in up in the shadow, you find it hard to get direct onto the join sometimes. You just, if the gap's a little bit close, it disappears when you're looking through the welding hammer. Even though it's not that dark, it's pretty good to look through. But, and also it fogs up with me breathing because it's cold. So it doesn't help. Anyway, yeah, I've got to go to the freaking little boy's room, so I might just sit there in the sun for a bit, let it warm up. Pain in the butt. Yeah, I just get a wee bit foggy in between. I don't know if, I suppose most welding helmets do that. You know, it's just one of those things you don't think of sometimes, because it's like it's running really sort of started coming into winter now, so the mornings are really cool. So you're obviously breathing hot and heavy and whatever, and well, you're not hot and heavy, but you know your breath's hot compared with the air temperature, so it fogs up between the lenses, which is a bit of a pain. So you can't wipe it off very easy if you want to stop. So it gets in between the plastic and the lens. But anyway, we'll clean it up in a minute, and then yeah, we'll carry on. Right, I've mainly just got the plug where I was to do, and a couple pinholes probably. Just maybe a matter of shining the light through from the inside or the outside and just picking up where I've missed once I've cleaned and ground everything off again. So yeah, it's mainly just plug welds. Hopefully. And we can get into these small stuff, which would be absolutely awesome. Oh, I've got a seam around here too. But yeah, it'd be good to get that all plug welded in. And I guess it's probably another hour in that. Hopefully. And yeah, then we can bust into some of these small stuff. Right, so you look over here, over the other side, zoom in for a second. You can see that where my finger is below, it's got a big edge there, or whatever that is, out an inch at least. At like the same depth as what this is. And what they've done, they cut it off flush down here. Why? It must have rotted off or something stupid. And they put a couple of, well, somebody started putting a patch in and somebody put a patch in here. When it was cut off, I don't know. So my thoughts are, we'll make a piece, come out here, kick out here with the lip back on. So we'll come out here an extra inch or whatever. We'll mimic the other side. So I'll run this piece. So this piece with the bottom added onto it, we'll just do it all in one bit. That's a good place to put it back on, you know. We'll 4 plug welds across there, back like normal. Not quite sure what I'm going to do down here yet, because this is actually rotted away, but so just trying to decide what I want to do there. First, I have just thought about cutting this lip off, cleaning it up, maybe drilling down here, burn some plug welds in there so it's burnt to this, and then want to make this lip, bring it out here and run it down this edge with a whole series of plug welds and burn it into here and eliminate this. I know it's not factory, but it's probably a kind of a, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of a simplish way to do it. It's either that or I was thinking about putting some plug welds down in here and overlapping a piece. It's either that I've got to wire it right all the way down that edge, which I could do, and ditch some of the shit and just butt it up against it and just burn it in down here, and try and clean this up on the inside before I do it, because there's going to be water running in here, so we don't want, mind you, we can get in here. We've got that big hole in here for the heater vent, so we could get in there, burn that down there with a fresh piece of hard up against the edge, just burn it in, and then come in from the inside, and can't get down in here, but I want to know where the original drain is. You can see it, this has got this here to get water away from. Does that go right up in here? It does. So you somewhere this water runs down in here, and then it's got to get out somewhere. Not sure where. I want to find out where that comes out and make sure that it can get out without just seeping through holes. So we'll do a little bit of investigation before we welded everything in. But if we make a panel, come down here, add this extension back on, add that extension back on, put that lip on it, burn it down there, and then we will do the same out to here. We'll bring it up to here, so it'll come down here, and add the extension on, so we can spot weld it down here, spot weld this piece to there, and the only join we're really going to have, which I could spot weld across here too, and seam seal. Again, we can get in here, we can seam seal the back edge of it, we can seam seal the front edge of it, burn her in, and yeah, and that's got to be a damn sight better repair than what they were trying to do. It's more closer to factory, like we're basically replacing this piece, and yeah, I'm guessing the whole side box was all one bit and it was welded on. I'm guessing, and this outer skin was put on afterwards. I'm guessing that's kind of how it works. And probably this piece, yeah, this piece would have went over top of this piece, which was part of that piece. Yeah, and then this and this would have went on after. So yeah, that's my guess. I think that's a pretty good guess. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So we'll start laying out a couple of pieces and work out what we need to do. We'll try and mangle that into a bit somehow. Probably doesn't need to be there, to be honest. I don't really know why it needs to be there. Not sure. I might just make it flat. I could cut that sort of shape into a bit of timber and then just beat that piece into it a little bit. Might do that. Just hammer a bit of that shape in there so it looks kind of factory. Yeah, and then make the outer skin, and we'll definitely put this lip back on, which they've cut off. They edge welded it. What they were trying to achieve, I don't really know, but yeah, we'll do that. Right, so we've got a bit of fluffing around to do yet. I obviously want to bend this properly. I'd still like to put, there's that bulge in it, like sort of down here. It's got this bulge in it. I would like to put that in, or something like that. See if I can hammer that, form that in there. But basically, those repairs are made. Just got to finish forming that one and then weld it all together. So yeah, obviously I'll we'll bang some holes in here and whatever. I'll just got it roughed in. It's not on there perfect yet, with a little bit of trimming and muck around, but yeah, that's those two pieces made. And yeah, I just thought that was probably the easiest way. We'll just plug weld that along there, a bit of seam sealer around there, and then we can get in from behind and we can just seam seal in behind that join. Yeah, and I haven't trimmed away the excess shit that's in behind, but we'll trim that away and we'll fix that little bit of rust that's for a wee bit further in there as well. But yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. So that's kind of what we're welding and beating, and should be back on there, which is cool. It took me, I don't know, 40 minutes to make those, I suppose, and just rough them in, and yeah, very good. Right, well, we'll see you in the morning, and we'll do the same again. Right, morning. Oh, so I'll just shift this a little bit. Probably don't need to, but I'll do. Anyway, so getting near the end of this video. So we see me make those couple of pieces for that bottom of that firewall piece on the whatever, right hand side. Right hand side? Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so I need to make this bulge here. I need to replicate that back into here. It was normally set about there somewhere and be bulged out. So the rough plan is, moment, cut that out of there. I'm going to do that again, have another piece of timber, and then we're going to cut this piece to fit into here, and we'll put something underneath it, and then we'll screw it down to the bench, and then we'll just beat that shape down into the panel, be from this side. So yeah, I'll do a couple of layers. That should be deep enough, I think. It'll be close. It'll be close enough, and we'll just basically what I'll do is concentrate on. Look at this. It's basically just worked in the centre. So I'll do a bit of I'll beat a bit of a triangle into it, and stretch it down in, so that about that sort of size in the centre, and then I'll just pull the rest of it down over, and we end up with roughly that kind of shape, if you know what I mean. We'll just get something similar. It doesn't have to be dead perfect as long as it's close. It's one of those things that you're never ever going to see, but I just don't know what is the reasoning for that in there. That may be in there for clearance or something, for heat event bits and pieces. I'm not sure what actually goes down in there. I'm assuming there may be some sort of flap or mechanism in there, and it might just need that little bit of clearance in there for something to work. Otherwise you could just put it in there flat, but it's in there for a reason, so otherwise they just would have made it flat, I'm assuming. So yeah, we'll cut another one of these, and then yeah, I'll probably have to, just to get, yeah, I might just have to lay another piece of timber underneath this and screw it all down to the bench with some flathead type screws, and then we'll just lay this over it, and we'll just start beating it, basically. Righty. So, I just had a quick look on the other one, and there's actually a hole, might be a hole right down the bottom here, which is obviously for the water to get out. So I'm thinking I might just leave the bottom part of it open, with a decent hole in it, a decent window in there. I'll take you quickly around the other side and I'll show you. Can. May as well whip you around there on the tripod. Just as easy if I can get down in there and see. I'll zoom in. You can see there's a hole there. So I'm just wondering, that's not it's a reasonable hole, but it's not a very big hole. So I might just leave it, the bottom of it open, just the very bottom piece of that bottom panel, so the water can run out there. I am not sure if there's a splash shield between that and the outer fender, where there's a splash shield that runs down. Oh, sorry, I'll zoom back out of it. So I don't know, I haven't got the panels here. So when the front mudguard fender bolts on, I'm not sure if there's a splash shield that goes down in here to stop the shit from getting in here. I'm assuming. So yeah, it's got like a little hole and then a slightly bigger hole. So we might open that one up too. Might just put that uni bit in there and just open it up a couple of sizes just so it can get some decent flow out there. And what we'll do, I might just leave the very bottom of it open on this side, just so it can drain away. Where are we? Let's get back out of it. Leave the very bottom of this open. We might even just nick a wee bit off this corner. And when we get rid of this, probably like to rough it out in there. So I'm going to pull this, I'm going to chop this piece away. So once we've got this out here, we can fix a little bit of rock, and we'll just leave this very bottom of this open so the water can get down here and it can just run straight out. And it hasn't got anything to stop it. I'll just have this very bottom piece open, so you can stick your finger up in there or your thumb up in there. You can poke the hose up in there really easy if you need to wash it out. For some reason, if you ever find that it's not running out there, you poke the hose up in there and you've got good access. I know some vehicles are really good and some are just, oh yeah, we'll put a bit of a hole in there. And then still, you know, an inch of shit can sit in the bottom and that bottom piece rots out. But if we leave it right open, it's right in this corner, well, everything, you know, can get out and you can give it a good wash out. You know, you can poke the hose down there. And it should flush all that shit out. So that's what we'll do. So we'll take this back off. We'll get in there and fix this stuff. And then we'll start priming and whatever. Everything around well. And that'll be this corner sorted. Alrighty. Unfortunately, the weather's turned to shit. But I've got that sorted. Cleaned up. It may need a slightly better cleanup, but it's very awkward to get in there with the grinder. It's just the angle's not right. Maybe if I had a brand new flappy on there, but I don't have one at the moment. I might better get in there and clean those welds up a little bit better. Just knock the tops off them, especially the bottom ones. But we're doing, that looks pretty reasonable. Like I said, we'll put some seam sealer down here and might have to knock that in a little bit better. But yeah, we'll seam seal that. We'll seam seal the inside of it. We'll seam seal down the inside of this weld here, and obviously probably down this one as well. Through that hole when we get there. There's decent access into that. So, like I said, but yeah. So I think we'll make that the end of this video up to here. So again, thanks for watching, and please like, share and subscribe, and all those things. Leave a comment, ask a question, whatever. So yeah, now in the next video, start the next video, we'll carry on with all this other small stuff. I cut these out the other day, and I was like, well, while I've got them the rust treatment tree doing its thing and waiting to dry, so like that's when I sort of started digging into this, and I was like, oh, well, we'll dug into this now, we might as well just fix it. I kind of didn't explain that earlier in the video, but yeah, that's us. So we'll end it here, and we'll see you in the next video in a few days, and I'll be starting on that, but it'll only be a few seconds for me and a few days for you. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, there should be only really one more at this point, but there will be doors as well, which will be, we'll try and do all this repair stuff in another, on the shell, the last repairs, and then we will jump to doors. So yeah, we'll get into this, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Hey guys, if you need welding gas, go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand. Yucky, might go bigger than that.